KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Tonight, a Colville man is just hours away from facing a Stevens County judge on charges stemming from a decades-old double murder. After going cold for many years, the case resurfaced thanks to new DNA evidence. 73-year-old Charles Lloyd Tatum was arrested for the murders of 29-year-old Marlene Emerson and her 12-year-old daughter, Cassie Emerson, back in 1997. It's alleged that he killed Marlene Emerson at home and then set the house on fire. Her daughter's body was found a month later in a wooded area. The case went unsolved for the next 27 years. According to prosecuting attorneys, the arrest was made after DNA testing was completed by investigators this summer. Tatum is expected to make his first court appearance tomorrow morning. New tonight, Spokane Valley City Council voted unanimously to censure Councilmember Merkel this afternoon. This comes after an independent investigation found that Merkel violated the city's social media policy. According to the report, Merkel used a personal Nextdoor account for city business. The report also found that Merkel violated the Public Record Act by changing declarations regarding his search for public records. Along with censuring Merkel, City Council also voted to remove him from the Opioid Abatement Committee for the Spokane Regional Health District. Merkel released a statement shortly after that saying in part, quote, "This council majority once again demonstrates its obsession with distracting from real issues by directing its focus at me, but I will not let this pass without addressing the real failures of this administration." For that full statement and the report, just head to our website, that's KREM.com. All right, what does it mean, though, to be censured? For context, censure is the deep disapproval of a member's actions, statements, or a combination of the both. It's important to note that this does not meet the threshold for expulsion. Merkel will be allowed to conduct business as usual as Spokane Valley City Council member. Covering North Idaho tonight, where the public is pushing back on a proposed expansion along the Spokane River in Post Falls. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy reports in our ongoing Boomtown series tonight.
I'm here at Marina 33, where a developer plans on adding more than 100 new boat slips. Tonight, Post Fall residents were able to voice their concerns about river traffic and the potential impacts to wildlife.
People have valid concerns, and I think they should be not just heard, but really considered.
Diana Sullivan lives in Riverside Harbor in Post Falls near Marina 33.
It's a community of homes that all have access to a private beach down there.
She says she enjoys where she lives, but sometimes speedboats can cause issues.
The water comes up and we're all, being tossed this way and that way, which is okay because, we know that goes with living down there.
But what goes on down there may grow. 414 PF Hospitality LLC is submitting an application to the Idaho Department of Lands to grow the size of the marina. It would include adding 100 private areas for boats to dock, as well as relocating both the existing ship store and sheriff boat garage.
When asking for these things, what is it that we have to show? There's a burden of proof, and there is a standard by which that burden is met.
Scott Hislop is on the General Counsel for Stancraft Companies and is applying for the expansion. He presented his application to residents living near the marina at a public hearing. Hislop says they filled out all the required permits and went through the needed regulations to make the proposal become a reality.
I just thought this is probably a done deal because they have met all the requirements of the Idaho laws.
Sullivan says she's not excited about the project if IDL approves it.
I just don't see how this can be a healthy thing for the river because it's just not wide enough and it's just not long enough.
Even though the applicants done their legwork.
We all appreciate capitalism, but sometimes other things need to be considered.
Anyone with questions or concerns about the project can reach out to IDL. They have until December 27th to do so. In Post Falls, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife has confirmed 4 new cases of chronic wasting disease. All of the new cases were found in eastern Washington. Chronic wasting disease is fatal to deer, elk, and moose. However, all the new cases were found in male white-tailed deer. 3 of those were in Spokane County, in the same area as the 2 other positive cases earlier this year. The 3rd new case came from a deer near Davis Lake in Pend Oreille County. Wildlife officials said there are still several samples awaiting testing, so there is the potential for additional positive cases. All right, shifting gears a bit, the weather looking much calmer than just the past few days. Now we're bracing for the rain, though. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Lagoud live at the Weather Center tonight when that rain arrives. Jeremy?
It's already coming down, man.
All right.
Yeah, it just started like an hour ago. No, I'm kidding, like half hour-ish. And it's coming down okay. Single raindrop on the icon means it's a light, kind of steady rain. 37 degrees with that rain coming down. And that's about where we are across much of the region. Believe it or not, it's 10 p.m. It is late December, and our temperatures are still above freezing. Yeah, I know. I just wish it wasn't this way. There's the backside of it. We are already almost through those showers as they move through. Very light in nature, very quick moving, and they will be out by midnight, and then we're going to start clearing out. Tomorrow, we get a mix of clouds and sun taking us through the day, but as we get into Saturday, it looks like we go from sunny to rainy as our next wave of moisture moves through. I think Saturdays is a little more widespread than what we're seeing right now, but still, temperatures stay warm. 44 tomorrow under mostly cloudy skies, 42 on Saturday, and 43 come Sunday.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. Now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. If you have a child in Spokane Public Schools, you may have received a letter stating lead was found in their school's water. The findings come after testing, which is now required by state law. It makes schools built before 2016, they must test their faucets and water fountains. The CDC says exposure to lead could cause issues for the brain and nervous system, which can slow growth and development. District officials said most of the water fixtures were only slightly above the state's threshold, which is 5 parts per billion. A maintenance supervisor with SPS said the issue is Spokane's aquifer, not necessarily the pipes. Right now, the impacted water sources in schools are set to a hand wash only status as they replace each fixture. And tonight we are learning more about the 2 men killed during yesterday's windstorm. Today, Elijah Bryan and Eric Saint were identified as those killed when a tree fell on their truck on Highway 2 near the airport. We are told Bryan was engaged and had 4 children, and while we haven't been able to contact with Saint's family yet, Bryan's close friend is speaking out about the sudden loss.
I've known him for almost 10 years, and he was just the kindest person you'll ever meet, man. That's the kind of man he was, you know. He's very hardworking, gentle, and he was a loving father as well.
A GoFundMe was set up by Bryan's former co-workers, and all donations will help his family. And the Spokane Police Foundation is accepting donations for both families who were impacted. For links to those fundraisers, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Tonight we have an update on a case we first reported on back in 2022 by our KREM 2 investigators. An 80-year-old Washington woman has pleaded guilty to selling truckloads of rotten grape juice contaminated with rodent feces and decaying animals. These new photos show the barrels the juice was stored in. Prosecutors say 80-year-old Marianne Bleisner and her now closed company, Valley Processing, Inc., sold the contaminated products between 2012 and 2019 and knowingly put the public in danger, including millions of children across the country receiving free and reduced school lunches. Back in 2022, KREM 2 sat down with U.S. Attorney for Eastern Washington, Vanessa Waldriff, to ask about why it was important to go after this case.
We do that to make sure that the food we're eating is safe and that the children that are getting free and reduced cost lunches are having access to that healthy, nutritious, safe foods.
Bleisner pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanors and agreed to pay a criminal forfeiture of the amount of $700,000. She will not spend any time in jail. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Meantime, in North Idaho, State Patrol stepping up DUI enforcement just in time for the new year. Starting on December 31st, law enforcement from across the northern 5 counties will be increasing patrols until January 4th of 2025. So far this year, 11 people have died as a result of impaired driving. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press report young people between the ages of 21 and 24 made up the majority of drunk driving deaths this year. Well, there are only 4 days left in the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign, and Spokane is still short of its goal, and they're asking for your help tonight. Today, Salvation Army revealed they are still $80,000 short of their goal right here in the Lilac City. And if you can't get to an in-person kettle, you can donate online right now by visiting the Salvation Army's virtual Red Kettle. That website is listed right there at the bottom of your screen. The funds help to provide gifts, food, and shelter to vulnerable local families at Christmas and beyond. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.